Hey Fiberistas, it's Stacy Budge Camison. So how's your sock coming along? You got your gauge swatch, you ready to cast on? So I'm going to show you one of my favorite cast-ons. It's one of my favorite cast-ons overall, but I figured out a way to make it to where it's a more stretchy cast-on. I'm just going to show you this one, but there are dozens of ways that you can cast on for your sock that's going to create a stretchy top. And what I mean is you want it to be stretchy enough here to where it's not going to cut off the circulation in your leg, and it's going to be easier to put on. So there are lots of ways that you can cast on loosely enough to where it will make it stretchy but not be to where your fabric's too loose, because we are aiming for a fabric that is a little tighter than normal, just to make the sock a little more durable and also to make it more comfortable to wear. So again, you know, we're aiming to have something to where this will fit over your leg, and not cut off your circulation. So I'm gonna begin the demo. I'm using a light worsted weight yarn, a number 5 needle, but I probably would go down to a number 4 if I had my number 4s with me, and a large hook. This is a K. I'm looking for a hook. I picked a hook that was slightly thicker than the needle. You can even go up to 1.5 times the size of the needle, and this is going to provide you the width in that cast on stitch to make the top of your sock stretchy enough to where it's not going to cut off the circulation in your leg. Anyway, so we start with a slip knot, leaving myself enough of a tail to be able to weave in. Alright, and I put the slip knot onto the hook. Whoop. Okay, take a needle, and with the yarn behind the needle, I reach across the front, grab that yarn with my hook, and pull it through. Okay, that's the first stitch. Let me do it again. Now I move the yarn to the back again, grab that yarn with the hook, pull it through. Alright, you got that? From the back, grab the yarn, pull it through. From the back, grab the yarn, pull it through. Alright, so as you can see, by using the fatter hook, what you're doing is you're making this loop bigger. So by making this loop bigger, making the top loop bigger that you're crocheting, that's what's going to give your fabric more stretch. So the bigger the crochet hook, probably the better. So I'm going to continue to cast on a number of stitches for this demonstration, and then I'm going to show you how to add them onto the 3 needles. Alright, Fiberistas, so you can see I cast on, and this is a fictitious number. Your number is going to vary based on what you calculated on page 3 of the worksheet from the last lesson. So my cast on number was 36. So I cast on 35 stitches, and this is my 36th stitch. So that is because this gets tucked onto the needle like so. So to get the stitches onto the other 2 needles, the way I do it is I'm going to just slip it through that back loop like this. So you're not, instead of going like this, I'm going towards the back loop. And so 36 divided by 3 is 12. So I'm going to put 12 on each needle. 3, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, So when it comes time for the second needle, I just pick up another needle and continue. I'll move this more towards the center and then continue to add 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Alright, so I should have, I'm going to center that up. So you see I have 12 stitches for each needle. Now I want to be sure to not twist these areas and be very careful as I'm about to connect the two. So the working yarn is going to be on this side and I'm going to be working with this needle. So I'm going to place it in the front and I'm going to be sure that this needle is on top. Alright, and just begin knitting. It's going to feel awkward. Just go slow. And I'm going to drape that over and pull that first stitch through. Now be sure that this wasn't twisted. See, now we're kind of in that place where it's not twisted, so that's good. Alright, so I would suggest going ahead and knitting a setup round before you begin with your rib. Okay, so I've finished that first needle, and what I'm going to move to this needle, but I'm going to make sure that this needle is on top to make it easier to work with. So whatever needle you're working on, you want it to be on top when you're working your piece. And again, I'm going to continue with my round. Alright, so you can see I've finished my setup round and I'm back to where I started. So I'm going to again pop this needle on top. Double check, make sure everything's copacetic. At this point I would just begin my rib and always making sure to put that needle on top.